This is my BMW E30 that I bought for $2,000. Right now, the carpet looks like this, but we're gonna transform it for an upcoming car meet to look like this, with a budget of only about $100. Ideally, I would replace this nasty carpet with a brand new one. I'm in a little bit of a time crunch and I can't get one here in time, so I'm gonna use this little trick. I have 2 cans of this vinyl and fabric spray / dye. These cans are about $13 a piece and should get the job done. So I'm gonna take the seats out, spray the carpet with this stuff, and it should make the carpet look at least much better for anybody peeking in the windows during the car meet. The car's original seats were in such bad shape, I replaced them with new black Sparco seats. And my future plans are to make the entire interior a matching black. Anytime you have the seats out, it's a good time to vacuum. It's also a good idea to clean the carpet before adding the dye. The last thing I'm going to do before adding the dye is mask anything off that I don't want to paint. I'm using saran wrap because that's what I have on hand, but feel free to use any old newspapers or anything else you have laying around to mask off your project. Alright, so I've vacuumed and masked off everything that I don't want to paint around the carpet. So now it's time to apply the dye. Alright, so that's the coverage from 1 can. It's a little thin, so I'll probably need 2 cans for just one side. So I'm going to have to get 2 more cans, but I'm going to keep going here. Alright, so I'm about halfway through the second can. I've got nice coverage up here. I've left this a little more sparse just to make sure I have enough paint to finish because the seat goes over this section. Holding the can closer to the carpet works pretty good. The further away, the less it absorbs into the carpet. I was able to start the driver's side with what was left in the half can, but now I have to go to the store and get more dye. Alright, I grabbed 3 more bottles here of the paint. Hopefully that's enough to finish the job. Alright, and after 4 cans of that dye, the carpet is completely black now. Looks really good. I'm really happy with this. I'm probably going to get a floor mat. After my feet being on the material, it might start to rub off. So I think a carpet will really help with that. I'm going to let this dry and then I'll put the seats back in. Alright, I just added a little black carpet to top everything off and make everything look super clean. And I was kind of concerned about the actual dye, how like if you rub up against it, it may start to rub off. It's not super deep, but I am so excited about how transformed this interior looks with just maybe $60 worth of dye and $60 worth of carpet. So for about $120 and an afternoon of work, I'd say the results are pretty good. Now before I can start taking this car to meets, I do have to address an overheating issue which is being caused by a broken coolant hose. So I've got fresh new hoses here, all silicone. These should be a nice replacement for the crusty old hose that are in there. So I've already jacked off the car on Harbor Freight jack stands. It does. Now I'm going to drain the coolant. Sick. So this hose was sitting kind of something like that, but there's a pulley right here and there's the alternator blade, and that's what cut the line. All right, if you take a look, you can see there's a hole. There's actually a gash right here. All right, I'm gonna do a little test fit. If I just cut off a little bit of the end, I think I'll be able to move the hose this way enough that it won't get cut again. Yeah, so I cut off a little too much and now the hose is too short. I also found a clip under the car that holds the hose in place so it doesn't run into the pulley. All right, well, me, but I did find a solution to fix my problem. I ran to the auto parts store and this is a radiator hose repair kit. Came with some clamps. I think this is gonna do the trick. Nope. Maybe this one? Yeah. This should fix my dumbass move. There we go, good as new. Not really, this is ghetto as fuck, but. All right, what a pain in the ass. But I finally got this line in and all together, so let's move on and get the rest of these lines in. The rest of the silicone hoses that go in the front of the motor are pretty simple to replace, but once I got to the back of the motor, the hoses were way more difficult to work on. There's very little room back there to get your hands or tools onto the hoses, but with some patience and a lot of swearing, I did manage to get the hoses off. Alright, this is the lower line that goes into the car to the heater core, so it has to be cut. This is, I believe, some type of thermostat to control the water from coming in and out of the inside of the car to the heater core. So this part is pretty straightforward. Just remove the old hoses, cut the new hoses to the same length, and then install them. But installing this assembly into the car is almost impossible due to the lack of space between the motor and the firewall. I may need some specialty tools to get the job done. Alright, I ran to Harbor Freight, got some of these hose grip pliers. Hopefully this is the answer to my problem. You know what they say, use the right tool for the job, so hopefully this is it. Alright, what a pain in the ass that was. So if you can see there, this is where that hose hooks up right there. On the other side of the car, way down in there, I don't even know if you can see. It's too dark, but down in the hole there, you can barely fit your hand in. That's where the other one was, but it's all set now. I have one more line here, so I have to just cut it where this little T is, and then reconnect it. And this line shouldn't be as much of a pain to get in. Alright, let's get this last hose in. This last line is a little tricky to snake through behind the intake manifold, but compared to the last hose, it's not nearly as difficult to install. The last silicone line is connected. I've got all new lines now. So now we're ready to open up the bleeder valve here and start filling the system with new coolant.
Minutes later.
Okay, the car's been running now for a few minutes and you can see it's not overheating. So the car's got coolant now, it's not overheating, and the carpet looks great. I mean, from just peeking in the windows, looking fast, it looks good. Now for my plans, the dyed carpet isn't a permanent fix. Now, with as little as I actually really drive this car, I think the carpet is good enough, but I do really want to restore this car, and I think a new carpet, they're not that expensive. So I think down the road, I am going to get a new carpet for this, just make it brand new and fresh. I also want to do the door cards, and I either want to dye the rear seats or I want to do a rear seat delete. If you notice when I was starting the car, it also has a hard start. I do want to get to the bottom of that. That's been a problem with the car since I bought it. So I think I'm going to try some fuel injectors next and maybe a fuel pump. And if it's not that, it could possibly be the starter. I don't know what else it could really be because the car's had like a full tune-up. It has new spark plugs and it has a new battery. So I don't think those are the causes. So to me, I think it's either fuel or maybe the starter. It could be as a compression issue. I have not done a compression test on this car yet, so who knows, but fingers crossed that's not the issue. Plus the car runs pretty good, so I don't think there's a compression issue, but I really do want to get this car in like tip-top condition throughout the year and over the summer. So thank you so much for watching, and if you're on a budget and you're trying to restore the interior on your old car, the dye is definitely an easy and inexpensive way to go. Like I said, the cans are only about $13, and I spent the extra $60 on E30 specific mats, but honestly you could even go cheaper and buy generic mats, you know, spend $20 and have generic floor mats and really do this on the cheap. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully this video helps you on your project. And if you enjoyed the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos on this BMW E30 and the other cars that I own, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I appreciate the support. See you guys in the next one.